Hi, well, this is a short screencast for Independent Colleges Dublin for CIMA E2 for November 2014. And in this particular screencast, we're going to look at the resource-based view to strategic development or strategy formulation. And we're simply asked to discuss the main characteristics. We're given a scenario for Z company. It's involved in digital media, looks to have several core competences, ability to innovate and deliver new high-fangled products at a very, very fast pace. And the reason that they've been able to do this, according to the company, is that they're committed to an RB view. Okay, so in terms of the answer to this, quite a comprehensive answer, and as I said, quite a popular little topic, and one that perhaps students don't get enough of a grip on, and that means that your examiner will examine it on a regular basis. So in terms of the RB view, what do we know about it? Well, essentially it is very much an inside-out view, something you've got to remember. We're looking at what the company has in terms of, assets or indeed competences internally, and it's looking to really make the most out of its internal capabilities and indeed build strategy based on what it's good at. So rather than, let's say, the positioning approach, which is looking to for a company to position itself in relation to the external environment and what's happening in the external environment, i.e. the outside in approach. So really it's all about, the RB view is all about stretching its core competences. Try and use that word, stretching its core competences. So if we move down the question, one of the key theorists, well, there's sort of three of them here, but here's the first two, Prahalad and Hamel. Yeah, and their work suggests that really, any company is going to have a set of resources and indeed abilities, and if they're looking to leverage competitive advantage based on those, then ideally those resources and indeed the abilities in particular cannot easily be imitated by rivals. They talk about uniqueness. Okay, so that's an important point. Try and mention these two chaps here, Prahalad and Hamel. Okay, now in terms of the resources, we can break them down a little bit further. They could be perhaps tangible items or indeed tangible items, and you'll probably know what that refers to. Obviously with tangible, we're talking about things like raw materials, the physical inputs, things like employees, etc. But really where we're going to get or leverage our competitive advantage is the amount or availability of intangible items such as IP or perhaps copyright or indeed know-how, brands and indeed reputation. So as they say here, it's really these intangible resources that are the important ones. Okay, and we add in a third theorist here, a chap called Barney. Again, quite important to remember him. So we've got three theorists under this area, and he really sort of follows through and adds just a little bit to what Prahalad and Hamel talk about, this idea of, obviously resources are important, but let's make them unique. They've got to add value, be rare, difficult to imitate, and can be easily substituted or indeed copied by another company. So key points so far then are, resources and competences, and this idea of really stretching what you've got by looking internally at what you have rather than externally with the positioning view. Okay, balance of the question, just really a bit of a reiteration of what we said above. This differential performance is certainly based on the utilization of resources and obviously the utilization of skills and competences. Those are the key areas. It's not simply good enough to have plenty of finance or employees. It's really how those things are employed and indeed bringing in the intangible elements. Good reference to the scenario here. You were given some hints in the scenario about Z company's ability to innovate at a fast pace, the design capability and obviously the fast product development. So there was the hint. We had to mention that in the answer. Those are in essence sort of high level intangible resources up to a point, or indeed skills, know-how, and those are the key things. Those are the reasons why Z company has excelled in this particular market. As always, they sign up with some reference to competitive advantage, a little bit broad, but let's give the marker and the examiner back what they give you. Let's use those key terms, competitive advantage, etc. Okay, hopefully that's been helpful and good luck in your studies.